Hi everyone! In this Christmas video I'm going to be showing you how to make this really pretty Christmas doily or coaster. Obviously you can use it as either it's like a gravy jug mat or whatever you wanted to use it for, and to be honest you could even use it as a Christmas tree hanging decoration. So it's a really versatile pattern and it just looks amazing in these two Christmassy colours obviously, but you can use absolutely any colours that you like, any yarn, any size, but obviously just bear in mind that the chunkier the yarn that you use and the larger the hook size, the bigger your finished project will be. So obviously if you wanted to use it more as a doily, then using a chunky yarn would actually work really well. And remember, if this is your first time visiting the Blossom Crochet channel, then hi, I'm Rebecca, and please make sure that you like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of my weekly tutorials as well as all of my yarn reviews and things. But let's just crack on with this beautiful project. I'm just going to be using for the tutorial some Lamia baby cotton yarn, so I will link down below where you can get that from, and I'm using a 3.5mm hook, and you just want to start with your slip knot as normal. And we're going to start with a chain of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to work all of our stitches into that very first stitch next to the slip knot, and so the remaining 4 chains are going to count as a treble and the chain 1. So obviously this is UK treble, US double. So we're now going to do a series of trebles and chains into this very bottom stitch. So you want to do a treble, so you want to yarn over, insert into that first stitch, yarn over and pull up. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've now got a treble, which is the chain 3, a chain 1 and a treble. So again you're going to chain 1 and you're going to do another treble. So yarn over, back into that same space, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 and chain 1. And you're going to continue to do that all the way around until you have got 12 treble stitches. So you've got 3 now, so you need to continue until you have 12, which is where I will meet you in a minute. But remember to do your chain 1 after every treble. So I've now got my 12 treble crochets. Obviously it gets a little bit tight the more that you get around, so you may just need to keep pushing your stitches backwards. Remember to do your final chain 1 after that last treble, and we're going to slip stitch now into the top of that starting chain. So you should have a chain 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, but remember that 4th chain is your chain 1, so you actually want to make sure that you're slip stitching into the 3rd chain. So 1, 2 and 3 just here. So you're going to slip stitch into that 3rd chain, chain 1 and snip off and just pull that out. At this point you can sew in your ends, or if you've worked around that tail end as you went, you'll be able to just snip that first one off. What I do when I'm making these, sew in my ends as I go around a little bit, not all of them, but especially this starting one, just so that I can see where I need to work my stitches without getting in a tangle. Okay, so that's our little starting circle. I'm now going to switch to my contrasting yarn, so to my red yarn. And you want to join your next colour into one of those chain 1 spaces in between your trebles. So I'm just going to pull that yarn through. So some of these rounds we will start with standing stitches and some we will start just with a chain like this one. So we're now going to be doing some cluster stitches. So you want to grab that yarn and pull it up and do a chain 3. So this first cluster is different to all the others because we're obviously having to start with a chain. So you want to yarn over, go into that same space where you've joined your yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through those first 2 loops and stop there. And then again, yarn over, back into that same space, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all of those remaining loops. So that is your very first cluster. You then want to chain 2. So 1 and 2. And so the next cluster is going to go into your next chain 1 space just here. So you're going to yarn over, insert into that space, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, back into that same space, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, and one final time, yarn over, back into that space, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through the first 2. You should then yarn over and pull through all of those remaining loops, chain 2, and do a cluster into your next chain 1 space. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, yarn over, pull through 2, and one more time, yarn over and pull up, and yarn over, pull through 2. You'll have your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through them all, and chain 2. So if you want to continue that into every single chain 1 space, and then I will meet you in just a second. I've just completed my last cluster and I've done my chain 2. Now to join with the beginning of the round, you don't want to work into the chain 3, you want to work into the top of the cluster itself. So ignore the chain 3 here, and you're going into the next stitch here, which is the top of that cluster. And you're just going to slip stitch through there. And again, chain 1 and snip off. And sew in your ends if you wish to at this point. So I'm going back to my white again now. And this time I'm going to be starting with a standing stitch. So you want to start with a slip knot on your hook and into one of the chain 2 spaces in between your clusters, you're going to work a standing double crochet. So that is obviously a UK double, in the US this is your single. So to do that you want to insert your hook into that chain 2 space, yarn over and pull up, you'll have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. So that is our first UK double. You then want to do a chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you're going to skip over the top of your cluster and you're going to work a UK double into that chain 2 space. So yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both. Chain 4, skip over the cluster again and double into the chain 2 space. And you're just going to do that all the way around for this round. So it's a nice easy one, nice and quick, and I will meet you in just a second once you have completed that. So chain 4 and double into the chain 2 space in between your clusters. So I've completed my final chain 4 and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that very first double crochet that we did. Make sure you go through the whole of the stitch and slip stitch. So this is how we're looking at the end of round 3. It's actually a really pretty point, and again would actually make quite a sweet hanging decoration on its own, or a little flower. But anyway, we're going to move on now to round 4. So round 4 again is a nice easy one to do. You just want to slip stitch first of all into the chain 4 space. So just do a little slip stitch so that you're in that space. We then want to work 5 double crochets into this space. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then again 5 into the next chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're just going to go all the way around doing 5 UK double crochets into each of those chain 4 spaces. So after you've completed your final 5 stitches in that last chain 4, you just want to slip stitch into that very first double crochet that we did at the start of the round. So you're just going to slip stitch into that first double that you did, do a little chain 1 and snip off. So again, I'm going back to my red now, and this time we're going to start with a standing treble crochet. So slip knot on your hook again, and you want to find in each of your chain 4 spaces, you want to find the middle stitch. So if you remember, we did 5 stitches into each one. You want to find the third double that you did, so into each chain 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want the third one, which is this stitch just here. But we want to start with a standing treble. So to do that, as I say, we've got our slip knot. You want to do a little yarn over and just hold those stitches with your finger and find your third stitch along again. And again, going through the whole of the stitch, and you will just grab that yarn and pull it up, and then you will yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that is our first treble of this round. You then want to chain 2, and back into that same space you're going to do another treble. So yarn over, insert into that same stitch and complete your treble. And so that is our first V stitch. So you can see that creates our V. We're then going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to skip straight across to the center of the next set of stitches. So you should be skipping 4 along the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that should take me to my middle double in that section. So again, treble, so yarn over and insert in that stitch, complete your treble. Chain 2 for our V stitch and treble back into that same stitch. And again, chain 3, go to the center in your next set of 5 stitches. So again, you should be skipping 4 along the bottom, and you're going to do your V stitch. So treble, chain 2, treble, all in that same one. So you're going to continue that all the way around until you reach the other side, and that is where I will meet you and we will complete our final round. So I've done my final V stitch and my chain 3, and now we're just going to slip stitch into the top of that standing treble that we did at the beginning of the round. So slip stitch through there, again chain 1, and we're going to snip off. So again, this is how you should be looking at the end of round 5, and we've just got our final round to do now, which I'm going to go back for my white And again, we're going to start with a standing stitch, so you need a slip knot on your hook. And we're going to start in one of our V-stitches, so any stitch that you like, and we're going to do our standing double crochet. So that's UK double, so yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both of those stitches. So just make sure that it's slightly to the right hand side of your V here. You then want to do a chain 2, and back into that chain 2 space in the middle of your V, you're going to do another double crochet. And then you're going to do a double crochet into the top of the treble as well. So you can see we've got the top of that stitch just here. And do your double crochet. We're then going to do some spiked stitches, so they're going to be dropped down into this previous white row that we've got here. So you can see we've got 4 skipped stitches, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're going to be working into the middle 2 stitches. So the ones that are sort of in the dip there, you've got 2 middle stitches and then your 2 outer stitches. So into those 2 middle stitches, you're going to do an extended double. So you're going to go straight down through that first stitch, yarn over and pull up and complete your double. So that's 1. And then again into the next, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up, and that's 2. So you've got 2 stitches that go down into the previous row. You then want to do a double crochet into the top of the next treble. And then into the chain 2 space, you're going to do a double, chain 2, and a double, all in that same space. And then again, you're going to do a double into the top of the treble as well. And then again, you're going to jump down and work into those 2 middle stitches that we skipped earlier on. So insert your hook into the first one, first of the middle stitches, and complete your double. And into the next one as well, complete your double. And then you're at the point now where that you can repeat all the way around. So you're going to do a double into the top of the treble, and then into the chain 2 space you're going to do a double, chain 2 and a double, and then your double into the top of that treble on this side as well. And then again, you've got your 4 skipped stitches and you're going to work into the middle 2. So if you want to continue that all the way around, and one final time I will meet you and we will finish off. So I've just done my last 2 stitches down into the previous rows, and I just need to finish with one final double crochet into the top of that final treble. And then I'm ready to slip stitch into the top of that very first double that we did. Do your little chain 1 and snip off, and that is all of your rows completed. So obviously it is a little bit tail heavy, if you like, so you just need to sew all of those ends in and then you will be ready to go. But I really hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and please see the description box for the link to all the rest of my Christmas series as well, and I will see you for another tutorial very, very soon. Bye for now.